Failure can be a great teacher. Stay tuned, traders. We're going to talk about that next. G'day traders, I'm Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. Today we're going to be talking about how failure can be a great teacher moving forward with your trading. I'm just started to read Ray Dalio's new book, Principles, and if you don't know much about Ray Dalio, he is the head of Bridgewater Capital. Probably it's the largest hedge fund in the world, or largest fund in the world. I've read some things where they're 3-4 times as big as the next closest fund, and that all started out of an apartment in New York with Ray and a few other people. But if you have a chance to watch any interviews with him or read his book, I encourage you to get his book. I'll include the link below. Very interesting story, and just his whole approach and how they've gone about building things and learning. And you find out that Ray Dalio was a normal individual, came from very humble beginnings, did not do that well in school, eventually made it to the Harvard Business School, to which he found really conducive to his style of learning, as they did real life approaches in teams to study case studies and come up with ideas. But he talks about making mistakes in the market, and at one point he had started a small business, and it might have been Bridgewater in the early days, and they actually went bust in one of the, or close to bust, in some changes in the market conditions that they at that particular time were not prepared to handle. And he talks about having to borrow $4,000 from his father just to pay some bills to keep himself and his family afloat. And I think I'm just going to touch base. I made some points out of the book so far that I've read that really resonated with me, and just really I think you find it very reassuring when you're working on the right things. That, and as Ray puts it, every person who's achieved some degree of great success has had pain along the way, and they've made mistakes, and they've had losses, or they've incurred a lot of significant challenges. And I think that we can, as traders, especially retail traders, can take stock in that, because we're bombarded with a lot of information, a lot of misinformation, and traders come to the markets with unrealistic expectations. They're not emotionally orientated. And as we talk about in my 7-step daily routine for high performance traders, creating daily rituals, and one of the main ones is building your mindset, bulletproofing your mindset to build confidence, discipline, and a winning mindset to master the market. And essentially that's built around mastering yourself, mastering your emotional orientation to the markets, having realistic expectations. But also, as Ray puts it, I love this, you have to come up with the best decisions, and then you have to have the courage to make them when those opportunities arise. One of the quotes that he talks about is that if you don't worry, you should be worried, and if you're worried, you shouldn't worry. And I think that resonates well with us as traders. So we can have elation and depression. We can go from winning trades to thinking that we've figured out the Holy Grail, and we start to deviate from our plan because we become overconfident, we overtrade, we take on too much leverage. We do all the things that ultimately will self-sabotage us and bring us back to either our starting point or even blowing up your trading account, which I've done a few times. One of the next key things that he talks about is that failure can be a great teacher. Now, you've heard me talk about this in some of my other videos, in that your losses can teach you more about trading than a lot of your winners can. But also, when you find a way to succeed and profit from the market, learn how to do it a little bit better. So that can mean maybe losing less on your losers, or extracting more out of your winners, but then also learning how to do it bigger and possibly more frequent if you're covering more markets. That depends on, again, having a plan. So very interesting. One of the other important parts that I liked, he said, find the smartest people who disagree with you and then triangulate. So one of the biggest things that he's learned to do is to get smart people around him get their ideas as to why some of his ideas aren't correct and why they may not work. And then through, reasonable understanding and conversation, so, respectful conversation, not having anything personal to do about it, but just, discussing things in an open environment where you can swap ideas, try different things out. Then they develop algorithms around that to test them. And they want to know that, not only do they have an opinion about that, but then test it out to see what the data supports. And when you get multiple people working on this in a constructive, positive manner to find the best solutions, then you can have potentially the best ideas, and then also the courage to make them. So with our trading as retail traders, again, one of the things I'll charge you with to do today for our homework assignment is to, write down some of your best ideas, why that you think that they're your best ideas, and then for as many of your best ideas that you come up with as many reasons as why that could potentially not work, and then look to figure out how you may test that to see indeed if your hypothesis or your idea can be tested and what the data shows. I think that if you really step back and approach this from a perspective, again, where you're a professional, trading is a business, and if you approach it as a business, your emotional attachment is not so much on the outcome of every trade, but on developing the systems and the processes that will ensure consistency. And if you have a positive expectancy, ensure that the consistency is there over the long term to, extract profits from the market, but also monitor that those results are continuing, and then looking at potentially how you can possibly either improve that or just maintain it with a greater degree of effectiveness. So, Ray Dalio, Principles. If you haven't had a chance to read it, I highly encourage you getting this book. You'll find out that he is one of the, I think, top 100 wealthiest people in the world now. Humble beginnings, did not by any stretch of the imagination show any great degree of intellect in school growing up. And in fact, he'll be the first one to admit that he has a shocking memory, which is why he looks to get smart people around him. And then collectively, using pain to learn from that, reflecting, and then using that information to hopefully move in a direction of constant progress, which is, as a trader, especially a retail trader, a small fry in the pan, we need to constantly be working on ourselves to get better and keep improving. So stay disciplined, traders. Focus on constant progress. Write down today how you can improve, and then set some goals for the week, and may the markets go with you. Have a great trading week. Hi traders, it's Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. If you haven't done so, please head over to my website at staceyburketrading.com. I create updates on almost a daily basis, and I would love for you to receive them. Just click on the blog. If you want to enter your name and your email address, I'll send you my free audio program, the 7-Step Daily Routine for High Performance Traders. This is essential knowledge for all traders in all markets, and this is for helping traders to master the market with discipline, confidence, and a winning mindset. I appreciate all your feedback and comments. As always, traders, stay disciplined, and may the markets go with you.